Our next guest speaker began his career as an elementary school teacher in Durham. He has previously held roles at the NC School of Science and Mathematics, the Hunt Institute, and the New Schools Project. He currently is the Senior Education Advisor to Governor Roy Cooper. Please welcome All-Star Geoff Coltrane.
Good morning. Lots of great energy. Great to see you all this morning. And first, thank you for everything you do for our students in our public schools. As a former elementary school teacher, I know how vital it is that our kids have healthy meals when they're in school. And so thank you very much. And as a former elementary school teacher and a Saturday Night Live fan, I have one phrase for you. We need more cowbell. As Ryan said, I'm Geoff Coltrane. I'm Senior Education Advisor and Deputy Policy Director for Governor Cooper, and excited to be here with you today. I'm also a proud public schools graduate of Trinity High School in Randolph County. Woo-hoo! Public schools not only provide safe places for our children to learn, but as you well know, also meals for many children who might otherwise go hungry. Many children rely on school meals, breakfast and lunch, for their daily nutritional needs. A hungry child cannot learn. And nearly 1 in 6 children in North Carolina live in households without consistent access to food. And nearly 60% of our public school students across the state rely on free and reduced price meals to help make sure that they're meeting their nutritional needs. To that end, last October, Governor Cooper allocated $1.4 million in federal discretionary funds to expand school breakfast through innovative models like breakfast in the classroom, grab-and-go breakfast, and second chance breakfast. We are very grateful for the Carolina Hunger Initiative and the North Carolina Alliance for Health, who have been administering these funds through a competitive grant program to public school districts and charter schools across the state. Thanks so much for your partnership. And I'm excited to announce today that CHI and the Alliance for Health have awarded 42 public school districts and charter schools across the state with grants to expand access to healthy school breakfast. These grants are going to help more than 51,000 students access breakfast in the classroom. 258 schools from all the way in the west in Cherokee County to all the way in the east in Tyrrell County will benefit from these grants. These school districts and charter schools are participating in the Federal Community Eligibility Provision, the CEP program, to make school meals available to all students at no cost to their families. And many of those schools are participating in CEP for the first time this school year. So very exciting news, very exciting work. There may be some of you in this room that have received these grants, and we're so excited to see the great work you're going to do. This is part of the governor's ongoing commitment to public education. Last month, the governor declared 2024 the year of public schools, and he has been traveling across the state, highlighting the wonderful things that our public schools do for students and how strong they make our communities. In fact, he is going to be in Cumberland County today visiting E.E. Smith High School. North Carolina public schools are doing amazing things. They're the backbones of our community, and they're the success of our economy all across the state. They provide a wealth of academic opportunities and extracurricular activities. They're required to provide transportation and meals to their students, to give special attention to students with disabilities, and required to accept and help all students, no matter their background, where they came from, what language they speak, or their socioeconomic status. More than 8 in 10 school-age children in North Carolina attend a public school, and surveys show that their parents are satisfied with the education they're getting. And in fact, that's for good reason, because our public schools are succeeding. We're seeing some of the highest graduation rates in our state's history. Just last year, 87% of our high school seniors graduated in 2023. North Carolina has the most national board certified teachers in the nation, one of the highest recognition a teacher can earn. Last year, public school students earned a record 325,000 workforce credentials in high demand fields like information technology, construction trades, and healthcare. This is really making sure that they're prepared for the jobs once they graduate and go on to their career to college. More than 1/3 of our public high school graduates complete one college course for credit while they're in school through our state's dual enrollment program. And of course, we have one of the best pre-kindergarten program in the country, NC Pre-K, which has success for lots of 4-year-olds, making sure that they're ready to learn once they get to school. For 150 years, North Carolina has defined itself on the strength of our public education system, and generations of North Carolina leaders have worked to ensure that our public schools have the resources they need. Even when we were one of the poorest states in the nation, in the midst of the Great Depression, our state stepped up and said, we will not let a public school close. And we funded our public schools to make sure that they could stay open, even when our local governments were failing to be able to do so. And it's because we know today what has been true for generations, that strong public schools mean strong communities and a strong state. But unfortunately, our public schools are at risk. And if we don't act, our children and grandchildren, our businesses and our communities will bear the consequences. We've seen a troubling trend over the last few years. North Carolina now ranks near the bottom nationally in K-12 funding. We invest $5,000 less per student than the national average, which ranks us 48th out of the 50 states. No state in America spends less of our economic output, our gross state product, on education than we do. We rank dead last among all the states. We rank 46 nationally in beginning teacher pay, worse than Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, and Tennessee. And when adjusted for inflation, we are still spending less per child than we were before the 2008 recession. For the last 2 years, North Carolina has been ranked first in America in business, but we can't continue to be first in business if we become last in education. Sadly, instead of investing in our public schools, the General Assembly plans to spend more than $4 billion over the next 10 years on vouchers to private schools that are unregulated and unaccountable. This is the wrong choice. Private schools that get voucher money don't have to hire a licensed teacher. They don't have to tell the taxpayers what they teach, how well their students perform, which students are going to accept or reject, or provide meals or transportation to students. This plan could siphon more than $200 million away from our public schools just next year. And some districts will lose up to 8% of their state funding. And we know from research in other states that vouchers do not help students who use them. We've seen research from Louisiana, Ohio, Indiana, and Washington, D.C., that students who used vouchers and went from a public school to a private school fell behind their peers academically who stayed in public school. In Washington, D.C., the loss was the equivalent of missing 68 days of school. But we have zero evidence of how our students enrolled in private schools do because there's no meaningful accountability for our private school voucher program. We don't require any rigorous evaluation of student performance. The governor's not against private school. He's against taxpayer money going to private schools at the expense of public schools. And that's why he's calling for a moratorium on further voucher expansion until we fully fund our public schools. Instead of funding vouchers, let's invest in more access to pre-kindergarten, raise teacher pay, buy school supplies, help ensure that our students with disabilities get the education they need and that their state constitution guarantees them. And let's invest in expanding access to healthy school meals. So the governor's asking everyone across the state to contact their legislators in Raleigh and tell them 4 things. First, tell them about the great things that our public schools are doing. Tell them the stories of what's happening in your public schools, the success you're seeing with your students, the success you're seeing in the school meals that you're providing to students. Place a moratorium on further voucher expansion until our public schools are fully funded. Tell your legislators we need to pay our teachers like the professionals they are. And tell your legislators to expand access to early childhood education, quality childcare, and pre-kindergarten for all eligible children. The future of our state goes to class every day in a public school, and it's time that we invest in that future. Thank you again for all the great work you're doing. Keep up the good work, and Thanks so much.